What's up, people? I don't typically do this, but I was listening to a guy that's value taking, and he was saying that one of the reasons why you should do more content, or just content in general, is it should be a part of your legacy, but also at the same time, if you have something to say, then you should communicate it to people, especially if you're an expert in something. And you never know whose life is going to affect and impact. So I wanted to, as I'm driving, I wanted to have a conversation with myself or whoever, right? And I always ask myself why. I ask people why. And I get that from my mom when I was younger. I didn't understand things, and she would tell me, well, you need to ask questions when you don't understand. And so that led me to be somewhat annoying to some people, because people don't like answering questions, because they believe what it is that they're saying off top makes sense. In actuality, it doesn't always make sense. Just because you said it doesn't mean that it makes sense. But nevertheless, I was talking to a friend of mine, and one of our pieces of conversation was, why do women get to enjoy their nature, but men have to suppress theirs? Or we have to kind of change up our nature in order to make women more comfortable. I said, well, I don't know what you mean. He said, well, women want to have a conversation, and oftentimes they would prefer for you to just listen while they vent, but they don't communicate that they want to vent. They just communicate what's going on with them and how they feel it, what's on their mind. Well, a man is designed to problem solve. So when you give us a problem, we're thinking that we need to solve it, because that's our nature. Your nature, or women's nature, I don't say yours, or women's nature is to nurture. Men's nature is to protect. Right? The question that he posed was, if a woman is having a situation where let's say she's talking about her job, that there's a situation going on at her job, and she doesn't like it. Well, she don't like it, and she tells her boo, her husband, her man, what the problem is. He said, oh, okay, well, maybe you should do, or have you tried X, Y, Z? Well, some women out there, maybe women in general, will say, no, I don't want you to fix it. I just want you to listen. So you're telling a man to listen to you while you vent, but you don't want him to fix the problem. But you would rather have the problem still be there. Well, men don't think like that. Men would rather not have problems, and if there are problems, rather get them out the way as soon as possible, or they're going to continue to be there. Well, I'm interested in knowing, how can we make it better for both, where the young lady, the woman, says something such as, I just need to talk to you about something that I'm thinking about, and could you just listen? Kind of preface it in a way so that the man would be able to know what type of conversation this is about to be. On the flip side, the guy will be able to just listen, and then if the woman would prefer him, answer or provide an opportunity to resolve it, then he will say, she will say, this is something I'm thinking about. Can you tell me what your thoughts are on this situation? Communication is key, and that's on both people, obviously. But in that particular regard, just so you know, ladies, men are made to resolve and fix problems. And so when you present a situation to us, that's what we're trying to do. And it's not to say that you can't fix it on your own. It's just that we think that that's what you're looking for from us to do. So as you want us to communicate, we're asking you to do the same. So I'm just curious to know why. Why is that a thing? That women would say they want to vent, but they don't want to resolve the problem. Not all, but there are going to be some women that say, well, what about me? Well, you talk about men have a hard time communicating as far as how they feel in most situations. Because if a man is to tell a woman how he feels about his emotions, maybe he had a hard day, there are several things on his plate that he's trying to resolve, and he just wants to be. Well, most times men are not able to vent to women because women will view the guy as, what's the word I'm looking for? They will view the guy as being a woman, basically. Whereas men want to be able to talk about their feelings without there being a judgment. Men want to have a safe space. And most men that I've encountered would be okay with the woman coming up with not necessarily a plan. Maybe it is a plan. I don't know. If it's not a plan, but it is some suggestions that may work. But it doesn't seem to work on the other side. The woman wants to vent, doesn't want the guy to help, but then the guy is okay with her helping. That's maybe not all, but from the men that I've talked to, that seems to be some things that take place. So what I would recommend is that both parties allow each other to have the space to talk about whatever it is that they want to talk about, but preface it by, hey, I just want to run something by you. Can you tell me what you think? Or, listen, I just want to run something by you that I'm thinking about. I don't really want to hear how it sounds coming out. And so I'm not looking necessarily for an answer, but just to vent and get some things off my chest, get off my mind. If that was the help, if women could do that, I think men would have there would be better outcomes in how men communicate with women. I don't know if y'all know this, but men have the highest, I think by far, the suicide rate of the two genders, sexes, however you want to call it. It's men, it's like 70% of the suicide rate is by men, and it's typically because the man has a lot of bottled up emotions that he would like to share, but he can't. I feel like he can't share them. I'm saying this because, like I said, I was having a conversation with a young man, and he was communicating how when he talks to his girl about whatever is on his mind, he doesn't feel like he's able to do that without there being a ramification, and that he doesn't necessarily feel that he's able to have that safe space. But and also some men may feel, sorry, I say it like this. Some women may feel like a guy is there are some women that will say, well, that's what you have a guy friend for. Well, that's true. That's why guys will open up at the barbershop. So, they will talk about what's going on with them, about the kids, about sports, and about their wives or girlfriends or dating or whatever. That's why the barbershop is such a big deal, or has been a big deal. And now the barbershop has turned into podcasts where men are talking about what's on their mind and how they view things. And even in that space, even in this space, it's a challenge for men to communicate about how they feel about themselves and about women, because if a man begins to talk about a woman, then the woman gets very bothered by that. That's what I've seen. Even on my show, I talk about men and women, relationships and marriage, and I've had people reach out to me and say, "Why you always talk about women?" And I had to literally go back and read off the titles of my podcast. Why? Because they said I was only talking about women. And even if I was, that's my prerogative to talk about women. The thing of it is your prerogative to talk about men. If you're a woman, it is whatever you want to talk about, you're entitled, and not entitled, but you have the freedom to talk about it. And you should also be open to the criticism as well. So me, I'm okay with the criticism. I just like it to be accurate. Like if somebody's saying that, your show is boring, and I say, okay, it's boring, then tell me how is it boring and how could it get better? If someone says, well, you talk about women too much, or you talk about women a lot, I'll say, explain what it is that I'm saying that's not accurate about women. Because there's never been anybody that says, that I'm aware of, that says women talk too much about men. I haven't seen it. And that's been a thing for a very long time. But I'm just curious to know why is it there's so many double standards. But when there's a double standard, it has to be in favor of one or the other. I was thinking, there's something that happened. I was thinking that as a father, I need to be good at spending time with my kids. And so one of the things that I do is I ask them from time to time, how am I doing? Because I want to do well. Because I didn't have a father in my life that really taught me how to be a man. That was in the house. Now my uncle did a really good job from far kind of communicating to us how a man should be. But other than that, good examples. Make anybody be offended or anything like that. It's just the truth. And so I ask my kids, how am I doing, so that I can make the adjustment. And I don't concern myself about, okay, well, what is my wife doing that she needs to do better for y'all? Like, I don't do that. I think about myself, and I hold myself accountable, and ask others to hold me accountable because I want to be better. And so one of the things I asked them today, I said, what would you score me as in our relationship? What score would you give me in your relationship? And they gave me different ranges. My two oldest gave me an 8, and my youngest gave me 100 out of 10. They can't do that. And she said, well, Dad, we have a good relationship, in her vernacular. And then my youngest son, he says, I would give you spent less time with us than you did when mommy was alive. And I was like, man, that's very possible. I said, that's what I did. I self-reflected to see if he had any validity to what he was saying and not just go directly into an excuse or a reason or to say, no, that's not true. Why? Because I believe that if I'm able to fix something about myself or change something about myself that will make me better, that makes me better for my kids and my wife and people around me. Not me. To some wish more people were like me. But that's not good for everybody either. Everybody, I said, what will make you be a 10? People said, what would make you be a 10? And they said, the way to make it a 10, they said the way to make it a 10 would be for me to play video games with them. To play video games with them and play the games that they would like to play. So I'm going to do that this evening. So, I'm willing to make the change. Or, when my wife says, babe, can you do X, Y, and Z? Or I love it when you do this, or I don't like it when you do this. And I try to make the adjustment. Because that's what people do, when you love somebody. And as a man talking to men and women, when I'm talking to women about what they need to do different, don't get offended quickly. Pay attention to see if I have any validity to what it is that I'm saying. Because where we are as it stands now, marriage is a big deal to me. And as we stand, as it is now, men don't want to be married because of a fear that they have and what type of woman they're going to choose. Me, I'm led by the Holy Spirit. Was there some fear? Yes. However, I trust God. But that's, I have that same type of fear. Is this the job that I should take too? But then it's like, okay, the Bible says I shouldn't fear anything. So I don't have that type of fear. It's just like, okay, am I going to do well at this? That's what I think now. And that happens. But it's a matter of what can you do now to get better now so that you can be who you need to be later. So be open to hearing somebody telling you, young ladies, that you're doing something incorrect. Be okay with it. Don't jump to, well, what about men? Don't do that. Okay? Take a moment to see if what the person is saying, is it you? Is it any validity to what they're saying about you? Does marriage are women ready to be wives, or are they just ready to be married? Those are two different things, right? And then you may say, well, it's not good men out here, but that ain't true. That's not true. And then what do you constitute as a good man? And where are you looking for good men? If you want a good man, you need to find out what a good man are. And is it easy? No, it's not easy to find. But they're there. What if men said, well, all women, men say, there are no good women out here. Well, there are good women out here, but where are they? That's what I'm saying. Well, gotta go. Until next time, we out here. Deuces.